All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back for another deep dive into some fascinating stuff. Today, we're looking at something I think is going to be, especially for you year sixers out there,
Yeah,
super relevant. It's all about health and well-being.
absolutely.
And we've got some interesting sources to dig into.
Yeah,
It looks like maybe some required reading from school, a document,
right.
some more general like health tips and advice, and even some resources like places you can go to get help if you need it.
Yeah, like a one-stop shop.
Yeah, exactly. So buckle up, get ready for some knowledge nuggets, maybe even some you can use right away.
Absolutely. I think that's what I love about these deep dives, you know. You
Yeah.
can actually take something away and use it in your everyday life.
Totally, totally. So one of the things that really jumped out at me
Yeah,
in this school document is this emphasis on like taking ownership of your health,
right.
especially as you get older. And it even says, quote, as we get older, we will make our own choices and have responsibility for our health, end quote.
It's true. It's like this handing over the reins, isn't it? It's like you're becoming more responsible for yourself.
Exactly. So what kind of clicks for you, hearing that quote? Like what?
I think for a year sixer, it's a big year, you know?
Yeah, it's like leveling up.
It is, yeah. It's like you're not, a little kid anymore, but you're not quite a teenager.
Right.
There's this new sense of freedom, and I think
Yeah.
it's quite an important time to actually start thinking about your health and well-being and being responsible.
And making those choices for yourself.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. Because, mom and dad aren't always going to be there to tell you what to eat or when to go to sleep.
Oh, they wish though, right?
They might try, but, you're starting to have more independence.
True, true. And it's like even in little things, like you decide maybe what snack you're going to grab after school.
Exactly.
Or, if you get to stay up a little later on the weekends,
Yeah, you're making those choices.
it's your call. And that reminds me of another point in the document. It talks about this idea of growth mindset,
Yes.
which for anyone who hasn't heard that term before, it basically means believing that you can achieve things if you put in the effort.
Right. And even when you feel like you're struggling with something, it's not that I can't do it, it's I can't do it yet.
Yes, that yet.
Yeah, yet is so important.
It changes everything.
It does. It's like a little seed of possibility that
Ugh.
you plant in your mind. So I always think a good example is, imagine you're trying to learn a new skateboard trick.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. And at first, you're probably going to fall a lot. You're going to, get frustrated.
Definitely.
But if you keep practicing, if you keep believing that you can eventually do it,
Yeah,
you will land that trick.
it's like telling yourself, I'm on my way.
Exactly. You're on a journey. You're not there yet, but you're on your way.
And that actually leads us to another really important idea in the source, which is resilience.
Oh, resilience is key, isn't it?
Yeah, so first of all, what does it even mean to be resilient?
I think of it as like, when you fall off that skateboard, you get back up again.
Okay.
It's that ability to bounce back from setbacks, from challenges, from difficult situations.
So it's not just about like not having hard things happen.
No,
It's about like how you deal with it when they do.
exactly. It's that inner strength that helps you to cope.
And why is that so important, especially now, in year six? Like,
Because life throws you curveballs.
yeah,
You might fail a test, you might have an argument with a friend, you might not get picked for the team.
right.
All of these things can happen, and it's how you deal with them that matters.
And the source mentions that there are strategies for improving resilience,
There are.
even though it doesn't actually list them.
Yeah.
But I mean, from your experience, what are some things people can do?
I think one of the most powerful things is to focus on what you can control. So, let's say you're feeling overwhelmed by homework.
Oh yeah, class.
Instead of stressing about the whole mountain of work, break it down into smaller chunks. Focus on just completing one task at a time.
Okay, so like bite-sized pieces.
Right-sized pieces,
Yeah.
achievable goals, and each time you tick something off that list, you get a little boost of confidence, you feel a sense of accomplishment.
Makes sense. And hey, maybe you could even use a habit tracker for that,
Ooh, habit trackers, yeah.
because the document talks about
Hey, brain.
good and bad habits, and even using trackers.
I love a good habit tracker.
Yeah, so what's the deal with habits? Like, why are some of them so hard to break?
Habits are basically they're formed through repetition. The more you do something, the more it becomes automatic.
So like a path in the woods.
Exactly. Like a path in the woods, the more you walk it, the more worn down it gets. And bad habits are like those overgrown paths. It takes a bit of effort to clear them and create a new, healthier path.
And have you ever used a tracker yourself?
Yeah, I used to have a terrible habit of staying up too late
Oh, tell me about it.
and then feeling groggy in the mornings.
Put worse.
And I started using a sleep tracker to
Yeah.
actually log, when I was going to bed, how much sleep I was getting. And just seeing that data, black and white,
Yeah.
made me more aware of my sleep patterns. And it actually motivated me to make a change.
So it's like you become the scientist of your own habits.
You do. You're like, oh, this is what I'm actually doing. Maybe I need to tweak this a little bit.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. So another critical part of this source material is that it focuses on like getting help when you need it. It
Absolutely.
specifically mentions Childline.
It's so important.
Yeah. So what makes seeking help so important, especially maybe for, young people?
Everyone needs help sometimes. It's like
Mhm.
even the best athletes, the best musicians, they all have coaches, they all have mentors.
Yeah, you don't have to go it alone.
You don't have to go it alone. And I think sometimes it can feel a bit scary to ask for help, especially if you're worried about what your friends might think.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's important to remember that everyone struggles sometimes. And it's okay to reach out for support.
Right. And the document even points out that Childline calls don't show up on phone bills.
Exactly.
So it's all about anonymity and privacy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about, taking responsibility, growth mindset, resilience, habits, getting help. Let's do a super quick run through of these other health tips that the source mentions.
Okay.
So it talks about meditation, mindfulness, diet, exercise, sleep, and vaccinations.
All the good stuff.
Like the basics, but important basics. Do any of these stand out to you as like particularly relevant for, someone in year 6?
I think sleep is a big one
Oh, why sleep?
because year 6 is such a busy time.
It
You've
is.
got school, you've got homework.
Maybe after school activities.
Exactly. You might have a part-time job. Social life. You're trying to juggle all of these things.
And sleep often gets pushed to the side.
It does. But sleep is so important.
What happens if we don't get enough sleep? Like, aside from just feeling tired?
Yeah, well, I mean, you will feel tired, you'll feel grumpy, but it also affects your concentration,
Really?
your memory. It even weakens your immune system.
So it's not just about, like, feeling a little bit sluggish.
It's not just about feeling sluggish. It's your body needs that sleep to repair itself, to recharge. It's like, if you were running your phone on low battery all the time,
Oh, I love that analogy.
eventually it's just going to stop working properly.
Totally, totally. Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
Talking about taking responsibility for our health, growth mindset, resilience, habits, seeking help, the importance of sleep.
It all comes down to,
Mhm.
recognizing that you have the power to make healthy choices.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up, here's a final thought for all of you listening. What's one habit, good or bad, that you'd like to change, develop? Why that habit? And what's one small step you could take today to move towards your goal? Remember, like the source says, quote, as we get older, we will make our own choices. So choose wisely and take care, everyone.